CTV News at 5 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. So glad you could be with us on this Tuesday, August 5th. It was a deadly long weekend in Sudbury. An 11-year-old was killed in an off-road vehicle crash north of Capriol in Greater Sudbury. Around noon yesterday, emergency crews were called to a road 5 kilometers north of Portalance Road. Police say 2 people were riding in a side-by-side when the driver lost control. The child was ejected from the vehicle. The youth was airlifted to hospital and pronounced dead by medical professionals. And a swimmer who was struck by a boat last week in Sudbury has died of her injuries. We get details from CTV's Angela Gemmell.
Greater Sudbury police now confirm the 52-year-old woman who was critically injured on Friday died of her injuries over the weekend. Investigators say she had been swimming in open water on Lake Nepewan when she was struck by a passing vessel. A source tells CTV News the incident happened near Duck Island. At the family's wishes, police will not be releasing the woman's name, but CTV has learned she was an avid swimmer and a member of the Sudbury Masters Swimming Club. The group does not function during the summer months, but a source says the members are in disbelief about what happened to their friend and fellow club member. The victim was also a well-known high school teacher with Rainbow District School Board in Sudbury. After the collision, the Forensic Identification Unit worked with traffic safety officers to try to uncover answers as to what happened. Investigators also used aerial imaging over where the incident happened on the water. There's no word yet on whether charges will be laid, but police say the investigation is ongoing. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
A 25-year-old North Bay man is facing assault charges following 2 violent altercations at a retail store. Police say on Sunday a man approached the Lucky 13 convenience store on McEwen Avenue and confronted 2 employees outside. The man is accused of assaulting one of the workers and then fleeing the scene. Police say he returned later in the day and was denied entry. The man became agitated and was later arrested. The accused is facing several charges. A pretty nice day on this Tuesday. For some communities, it was spot on for their daytime high. Will those temperatures hold? For more details, let's bring in CTV's Rick Wyman. What do you say, Rick?
Well, we'll have to be fortunate enough, Tony, that we didn't get the rain that was in the forecast. At least I didn't see any on the weekend in Greater Sudbury, Nickel Belt, and even on my trip to Noelville on Saturday, looking for some celebrity sights and sounds in the French River. First Take on Weather brought to you by CAA. Get your membership today at getcaa.ca. Here's the system that's about to approach the northeast right now. No foreseeable precipitation right now in terms of what we can expect in the next couple of days, maybe by about Wednesday. We'll take a look at the 5-day forecast. Some humid weather for tomorrow. Details on that coming up, Tony.
Thanks, Rick. A major drug bust in Attawapiskat netted Anishinaabe ASCII Police Service more than $42,000 in cash and illegal drugs. Police say they executed a search warrant at a home in Attawapiskat First Nation Friday after an ongoing investigation into drug trafficking in the community. They arrested 2 people and seized fentanyl, methamphetamines, oxycodone, and cash. A 35-year-old and a 30-year-old appeared in bail court Saturday facing 4 trafficking charges each. The 35-year-old remains in custody while the 30-year-old was released with conditions. A 30-year-old was arrested in Wawa after an argument got physical. OPP say on July 27th they were called to an assault on Ontario Street in Wawa after a man was accused of pointing a gun at another person. The 30-year-old is charged with 3 weapons offenses and 2 trafficking charges. On the Civic Day long weekend, Ontario Provincial Police were out looking for drivers who were distracted, not wearing seatbelts, speeding, or impaired by drugs or alcohol. More than 24 drivers were taken off the road. And this comes after a busy July for officers, where impaired driving numbers continued to climb. CTV's Eric Tashner has more.
There's been a disturbing trend in impaired driving cases. OPP say 26 drivers in the Northeast were charged over the Civic long weekend.
Pretty much every year, every long weekend, every time there's the traffic volumes increase, we constantly give the same message of don't drink and drive.
This after an extremely busy July for OPP in the Almaguin Highlands Detachment. Officers charged 6 individuals with impaired driving following a series of separate incidents. Police in North Bay also arrested 12 drivers with impaired driving offenses that same month, including a person driving a dirt bike.
We're still, as you can see from the stats, still getting a lot of impaired driving. We would love to see this number at 0.
The good news, OPP say, is that as of Tuesday in the Northeast region, no one has died in collisions involving drivers suspected to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol. But that doesn't excuse the poor driving choice. The message from OPP, with 4 weeks left until school and summer still in full swing, they will remain on the highways patrolling the busy roads.
The same applies, not operating boats or ATVs or any motorized vehicles impaired. Doesn't matter where, if it's over the highway, roadways, or trailways. Impaired driving is the same.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
A Cochran resident is facing multiple charges after a pair of traffic stops. The driver was first pulled over a week ago on 6th Avenue in a pickup truck for impaired driving. The 26-year-old driver received a 3-day license suspension for blowing over the limit. The next morning, police stopped a motorcyclist on 3rd Avenue for speeding and excessive noise, only to find the same 26-year-old. They are now being charged with a myriad of Highway Traffic Act offenses, including careless driving, driving without plates, and driving while under suspension. The follow continues over North Bay Mayor Peter Chirico's expenses. CTV has confirmed that the OPP have launched an investigation into allegations made against Chirico. The city's mayor and member of the North Bay Police Services Board has been in the spotlight since it came out he'd racked up $16,000 in expenses on his city-issued corporate credit card over 2 years. He has since repaid those expenses. When CTV reached out to the municipality, the city of North Bay sent us a statement saying, while the city of North Bay has not been contacted by the Ontario Provincial Police regarding this matter, we will provide any information and assistance that may be requested. And we'll continue to follow this story as it develops. Time for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5. Rick has your full weather forecast. But first, let's head to South River. There's a live webcam courtesy of Northern Creations. Where are the chickens? Okay, there's a couple there. It's 24 degrees. We'll be right back.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Mary Provencher, Blind River. I know you and your husband very well. And Mary, I know you're a big fan of the weather. This forecast is for you just for being there. Thank you so much, Mary. Forecast radar, this is what we've got going. The next little while, not much precipitation. People have pointed out that it's getting kind of dry. Rick, it's getting kind of dry, they say, and it's true. No precipitation, maybe by Thursday at supper time. This is what it may look like by then. But then again, we've heard it before. Chance of showers across the Northeast. How about the 5-day forecast now? Sudbury Nickel Belt, humidex at 32 tomorrow. Chance of showers again. Some sun and cloud Thursday. Friday, chance of showers, more of the same. Saturday and Sunday, 26, 29 on Saturday and 26 again on Sunday. Meanwhile, in the Sioux and Algoma, which is close to Blind River, humidex at 28. Thursday, chance of showers, more of the same. Chance of showers Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Some of your temperatures, we go from 25 to 28, 29 back down to 26. Timmins, Cochran, Kapuskasing, humidex reading of 30 tomorrow. Chance of showers for a couple of days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Some of your temperatures, 27, 26, 29, back down to 27. Big difference from the forecast that we had last week right across northeastern Ontario. Timiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, humidex of 31 tomorrow. Some sun and cloud on Thursday. Friday, chance of showers. Saturday, chance of showers. More of the same on Sunday. And again, 27, 26, 29 even 28. Kind of weird. Here it is Tuesday already, and we're looking at a short-term look heading into the weekend weather forecast. So again, if you're making plans for this weekend, this is what you've got. North Bay, West Nipissing, humidex of 32 tomorrow. Sun and cloud on Thursday. Some Friday weather includes the chance of showers, more of the same on Saturday and Sunday, 26, 29, and 27. So big weekend plans. Coming off what we experienced, we had sun, we had cloud, we had smoke, and very little precipitation. So, Tony, this is what we've got rolling so far. So a big difference from last week. So we'll make the most of it. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. This summer in the Northeast has been on par with seasonal conditions. Environment Canada says temperatures are exactly where they should be, with the exception of the James Bay coast, where it was slightly cooler. But areas near Lake Superior saw more rain than the rest of the region. Normal for this time of the year is low 20s with about 80 millimeters of rain. Overall, our summer has been close to what was predicted.
There wasn't really a clear signal whether it would be above, below, or near normal for precipitation. So we have been kind of verifying with that forecast where overall temperatures have been slightly above normal when June and July are combined. And for precipitation, there has been that same dividing line between the northern portion and the southern portion, where some areas are below normal, some areas are above.
And Environment Canada predicts above normal temperatures for August. The founder of North Bay's Redpath Mining Contractors and Engineers, Jim Redpath, has died. He was 88. Redpath opened the mining contractor in 1962 with just 4 employees. The company quickly earned clients around the north, including Creighton Mine's number 9 shaft in Sudbury, the deepest North American shaft at the time. In 2022, Redpath had 6,400 employees around the world, including 200 in North Bay. While he stepped away from the company more than 30 years ago, Redpath continued to support the community, leading the Capital Centre, and was the first chancellor of Nipissing University in 1994. To learn more about his life and about his celebration of life, you can visit our website at CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. A manhunt is underway in Cottage country after 3 people were found dead in a home. Police are speaking for the first time as a 29-year-old suspect wanted for murder remains at large. CTV's Luke Simard has the latest.
A quiet rural road 2 hours north of Toronto is the scene of a murder after 3 bodies were discovered on the property. The main police suspect who is responsible remains on the loose. Shortly after 8 Friday evening, OPP responded to reports of gunshots and an armed man in distress.
Once officers arrived, one person was located deceased outside the residence, and the residence was fully engulfed in flames.
Officers started looking for the suspected shooter, and a shelter in place was put into effect in the area.
A shelter in place was put in effect until approximately 1:45 a.m. that morning. Since then, Mitchell Gray, 29 years old of Bracebridge, is now wanted for murder. Further, the next day, as the investigation progressed, the residence itself, 2 deceased were located from inside the residence.
OPP confirming that suspect and deceased were known to each other but have not said if they are related.
There are a lot of unknowns for sure. This is still a very active investigation, and we are looking into every possible scenarios.
Bracebridge Mayor Rick Maloney providing a statement to CTV News saying, "We appreciate the efforts of all our emergency services who responded to this tragic incident, especially our OPP. Our hearts and thoughts are with the family of the victims." The OPP say the investigation is still developing, but there is no threat to public safety. The OPP has not shared what information they have that leads them to believe that.
A police presence to continue, and what we are asking is if anybody knows the whereabouts of Mitchell Gray, to please contact the OPP at 1-888-310-1122 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS.
Police are saying that a forensic autopsy could take some time to determine the identities and cause of death for the victims. Until then, police are assuming that Mitchell Gray is still out there and are looking for his whereabouts. Luke Simard, CTV News.
It was a tasty fundraiser coming up on CTV News at 5. In 1 week, we will get the final total for Burger Wars in support of Large Sudbury. Well, Welcome back. People can now begin to book their appointments for pet spaying and neutering at the Ontario SPCA Sudbury Regional Veterinary Clinic. And in September, the clinic will have some new helpers. CTV's Madison Merrier has more.
Collage Boreal announced a change to the collaboration between them and the SPCA that will now see students able to assist with the spay and neuters at the charity's veterinary clinic.
So this is very meaningful for us as veterinary technicians in the industry because we strive to really provide access to veterinary medicine for people of the community. And this also helps kind of spread that passion to the students as well. So they're really working alongside the professionals and the teaching faculty, and we get to share this excitement with the students, and it's a little contagious.
With collaboration, I'm excited to be able to offer to the students here at Collage Boreal the opportunity to get some experience in a clinic setting, and then being able to contribute to a charitable organization in terms of their learnings, and then to be able to kind of move that and fulfill that into the community as well.
Lumbas says the goal of the spay and neutering clinic is to make these procedures more accessible to pet owners. As for the students, McFadden Houle says they are very excited for this chapter in their education, as the hands-on experience will help prepare them for their future careers.
So our hope is to be able to offer veterinary services to people who may not have access, whether it's because of cost or lack of having veterinary clinics here in the city or on the outskirts of the northern communities. So we work with a lot of rescues on the outside of Sudbury, a lot of Indigenous communities, those that may just not have that access to regular care.
The Ontario SPCA Sudbury Regional Veterinary Clinic begins today. However, Collage Boreal students don't start until the semester begins in September. Madison Merrier and Kansas. CTV News, Sudbury.
Well, today is the final day for more than 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants to decide whether they want to give their union a strike mandate. They started casting ballots last week and are entering the final day of strike mandate vote. It comes after contract talks between the airline and the Canadian Union of Public Employees ended without a deal. Negotiations began at the start of the year. If no collective agreement is reached, the union said a strike could happen as early as August 16th, but says bargaining is expected to resume at the end of this week, regardless of the outcome of the vote. An annual soccer tournament in Sudbury has rebranded, drawing on its Italian heritage. More than 30 soccer teams from across Ontario will be playing in the Coppa Caruso this week. It started in 1992, but when the Sudbury Regional Competitive Soccer League took over, the name changed. Now organizers want to highlight how the Caruso Club played a role in developing soccer locally.
What our board of directors has been trying to do is really play into the heritage and the tradition and the history of the soccer league here in Sudbury, and kind of going back to our roots. So even when we changed the name, a lot of people were still referring to it as the Caruso Club Tournament because of the legacy it had created.
And most games will be played at the James Jerome Sports Complex. Burger Wars is coming to an end in Sudbury. Organizers with L'Arche partnered with Desjardins for a final grilling before the closing ceremonies this Sunday. L'Arche Sudbury spoke about the importance of having local community support for its mission, but also the importance of supporting local for fundraisers like Burger Wars. And we'll have the final numbers and this year's winning burger for you next Tuesday, right here on CTV News. Everyone deserves a good home, even our furry friends. When we return, our Take Me Home Tuesday segment. You're watching First at 5.
We've got a new pet as usual for Take Me Home Tuesday to kick off the month of August. Not necessarily from the Wizard of Oz, but our special guest tonight, Dorothy, by the way, no coincidence, has a beautiful neck collar. It's a pink one. And of course, Emma Bailey is always my special guest to tell us more about Dorothy. She's active.
She is. She wants to explore everywhere. She doesn't love sitting still. Hello, pretty girl. She's 2 years old, and she's probably going to stay this small, so she's a bit of a smaller sized cat, but she's very loving, very sweet. She loves affection from people, so she just wants to explore. And she does have a litter of kittens back at the center, so she has 4 kittens that'll be available soon for adoption. But she is ready to go into a delayed adoption right now, so in which case she'd go home with the family, spend some time there, and then when it's time for her neuter appointment, she'll come back to our center, have her surgery, and then we'll complete the adoption then.
Very curious, Dorothy, as I've noticed, even in around the studio here.
Exactly. She was exploring the cameras. I think she wanted to work backstage. She's really, really curious of everything. And she has that kitten energy where she wants to play, she wants to move around, so she's perfect for any family.
Children, would that be an ideal situation for kids?
Definitely. I think she'd love kids, so they can give her lots of attention all day. She can have playmates. She hasn't been tested with other dogs or other cats, so maybe a slow introduction would do best, but she's very loving, so we think it'll be well.
And she could also use a couple of pounds, because I've noticed she's somewhat on the svelte, or we like to say the skinny side.
Yeah, she's very lean. She's very fabulous, but she's very healthy right now. So we'll just keep her on her regular Royal Canin food, and then she'll go home with some as well, so that everybody's prepared.
Okay, Emma, we need an update because people have been asking me. It's funny because I get inquiries after the show. So the two cats last week looking for homes.
Yes.
What happened?
Maddie and Marnie are still available at our center. We're giving them as much love and attention as we can. They're currently our longest residents. So we're hoping we'll find a home for them soon so that they don't have to wait around in the center much longer. Hi, pretty girl. We're hoping they'll find the right home where they can go together and then spend the rest of their lives together as bonded pairs.
And we certainly hope to find a home for them and for Dorothy as well. As you can see, Dorothy is active. Nothing wrong with that, so why not get a hold of Emma, as always, at the SPCA, located next to Collège Boreal, and perhaps Dorothy could be in your home as soon as possible. We're back in 7 days with more Take Me Home Tuesday.
Our first community close-up comes to us from Blind River. Larry Kirtley emailed us a bunch of pictures. He says he has plenty of milkweed on his property and a lot of caterpillars that transition to the pupa stage and then into adult butterflies. Thanks so much for these pictures, Larry. We're off to North Bay and Lake Nipissing. Nancy captured this hazy sunset over the big lake. Thanks so much for thinking of us, Nancy. Let's head south of North Bay to Sundridge. Stephanie says she found this little guy at Lake Bernard Park in the community on Sunday. Thanks so much for that, Stephanie. And if you have any pictures, videos, or events you'd like us to showcase, you can always email them to us at communitycloseup@bellmedia.ca. And there's more news for the North coming up at 6 o'clock. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.